So, Mexico's very own Oriol Servia. If you could describe our lovely dinner in one word, what would it be?
It would be 2 words. It would be old boy.
Damn.
And now for Dinner with Racers, presented by
Continental Tire.
with your hosts, Ryan Eversley and Sean Heckman.
Placeholder radio sound. I'm a driver. I'm very angry. This is the sound of a driver on the radio during a race.
What do you think I should order?
All right. Dinner with Racers continues. I am Sean Heckman.
And I am Ryan Eversley.
And we are sitting on a freeway in Florida right next to exit 427. If we take a right, we can go to, what are we passing by here?
Looks
Oh,
like
Cracker Barrel and a Steak and Shake. Florida at its finest.
Yeah, we're on Highway 75, so we're getting close to the Georgia-Florida line.
Nice. And soon enough, we'll be at your home.
I can't wait.
So, anyway, what we're doing here, we are wrapping up a cross-country tour. We made this decision a while ago that we were going to travel around the country in what vehicle?
My Acura MDX.
And what were the tires on that?
We were going to go with the Continental tires.
So anyway, we met up with a ton of people in racing that we thought were interesting. We invite them to dinner, and we see where it goes. And we didn't have an agenda. We didn't have a structure. Some of them we didn't know, and it seemed like a good idea at the time. So 8,000 miles, 30 days, and 20 states later, we have 27 conversations.
For you guys to criticize.
So next up was we were already in California, and we decided to meet up with another kind of Venice, Santa Monica guy, Oriol Servia. Oriol, longtime IndyCar driver, been in the sport for quite a while. The Indy Lights champion of 1999, did some stuff in Europe before he crossed over, and then currently still doing a little bit in IndyCar as a driver. Just ran the Indy 500 this year, and currently in a sort of executive role with Dragon Racing in Formula E, the all-new electric series. And I've known Oriol for a long time. One of the nicest guys you could ever meet. Super funny. Couldn't be more sort of happy to meet up with people and talk to them. And you never met him.
I met him when we did this, and he was just the coolest. Like, I totally get why he's made it as far as he has. Great attitude, super friendly, personable. I felt like I'd known him forever. And he ordered me a beer. So I thought, man, I like this guy.
So here are the things you got to know if you're going to listen to this conversation. First of all, you should Google the movie Old Boy. Not the American one, but the one from Korea, because it comes up.
It's very critical.
He talks about living in LA versus other parts of the world. He understands the actor's life very well, and we'll get into why. We learn a lot about Formula E. We talk about Catalonian independence, and then we spend about 10 minutes on
Pissing in the seat.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a big fan of that.
Master Impressionist.
Yeah, he did a bunch of them.
And all of this taking place at Tsukiji Sushi-sen in Santa Monica. I
had a rainbow roll and a special. I can't remember what it was, though.
And I had a chicken sandwich, so let's hear it. Once again, courtesy of Continental Tire.
All right, we're going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2.
That's Catalan?
Yeah.
Sound
And
Mexican
so
to me.
I'm guessing we're recording already?
No. I mean, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to start by asking a question myself.
Wait, time
This
out.
is not how this works.
This goes.
Okay.
Sorry.
You're new here.
So the question was how this relationship.
Oh, you're asking us?
Between
Yes.
Ryan and I?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say we're going steady, but we're not seeing anybody else,
Now
right?
it's exclusive, I guess.
It's not exclusive, but like it's open for debate.
It's
I
natural.
guess.
I mean, there's nothing more organic then. You haven't even had the conversation of exclusivity, but it is exclusive.
Well,
I
since
mean, that's love.
you're gonna rush this up to something. I mean, it was just fun and games, and now you're putting a title on stuff.
You're right. Sorry.
We're in California, so it's legal.
It's true.
And since it's a podcast, we got to keep it young. So there has been no DTR.
I appreciate that he's asking, though. He's concerned for our well-being.
Yeah. I mean, you guys seem happy. It just,
That in front of you. This is the public face.
true.
Right.
But you've been sharing now a car for how long?
6 days.
We're on
Across
day-
country,
Day 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
It says a lot of hours together.
Oh, it's a lot.
yeah.
And you
yeah,
decided to sit
it's,
on the same side of the table.
Well, that's
Usually,
because we want to look
So
at your beautiful face.
Let me just
Good.
say,
All right.
when you ordered me a beer, I was like, thank God.
That's true. My
I
non-drinking
would have preferred
ass.
whiskey
know.
at this point, but yeah, no, we're good. We're actually having a lot of fun. When we stop laughing, that's when it'll get really bad
Yeah.
because it's been nonstop laughter the whole time, and most of that is making fun of you guys after we record.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
just be aware.
I mean, it's,
So,
yeah.
but no,
It's the way that I signed, right? I mean, it's all.
just make sure you invoice us.
yeah.
Yeah, we just did a while we were waiting for you. Right. I can't, I just threw that out.
I
by the
actually
way.
was early. you said 2:33.
Yeah, and
blah,
you
blah,
said
blah,
3,
and then
yeah.
I said, yeah. Anyway.
So we killed some time at the Santa Monica Pier, which Ryan has never been to, being a Georgia boy, and
Okay.
I realized I haven't been there since I was in college, and it's every bit as shitty.
I was to say, yeah,
Yeah,
it's probably
yeah.
the same.
It's pretty
Yeah.
terrible. Yeah.
So,
But
of all-
it's touristy, but you have to go.
Oh, I was
You
happy
have
we
to
did
go.
it for sure. We've,
Yeah.
we've got a few because I've been to LA a bunch of times, but I've never done any tourist stuff at all. It's always like fly in and then drive somewhere. So
and it's always like flying. Let's go to Buttonwillow. Like it's never
Yeah,
anywhere
yeah.
nice.
like
but,
yay.
yeah.
So we did the Santa Monica Pier, and then I think if we get some time, we're gonna go do like the Hollywood Boulevard,
Hollywood Boulevard,
like
maybe Venice Beach. We got to see Muscle Beach.
Muscle
If
Beach.
you're gonna
Yeah, I
do
was
it,
gonna
you gotta
say
do it.
Muscle Beach, you're right here, and it's unique, and then you have the skateboard park right
Oh, yeah.
behind it.
Yeah, I
There's
remember
always
that.
action.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll do that.
I mean, I'm usually there, but you know,
When you you're shredding,
You're shredding
up.
it.
I'm here.
Yeah. How long have you lived in California? Is this where you've been ever
Almost
since you moved
6
over?
years now.
Okay.
Yeah, I was 10 years in Miami before that.
Right. Ever in Indy?
In India, I spent a lot of time, never full time. In 2002, 2003 is when I spent a lot of time. I was driving for Patrick Racing, and I had to be there a lot.
Sure.
And through the years, you always have to go a lot.
So here's there's sort of two California questions, and I've asked this of other people before, but you know, I live in LA, but I do a lot of media and a lot of production, and racing is not my full-time deal, but racing is 100% your deal. And very few races are in our time zone. So it means you're always shifting 3 time zones or, you know, doing double planes or whatever. Why here for you? Miami makes a lot more sense to me.
Yeah, it did. But, you know, it's, I think from the beginning of humankind, you know, we males just lose
Here it comes.
north when it comes down to women.
Okay.
And
So you're saying a chick dragged you down here.
And I'm saying, yes, there are a lot of women in Miami, but my woman, who I
Uh-huh.
met in Miami, and is from Chicago, decided to...
Oh,
Oh,
American.
yeah, and you can hear it when you talk to her, by the way. Like, there's a few key words. You're like, oh, she is an Illinois girl.
No, is she like
is.
Jackie.
she's like not, you know, because you're obviously Catalan.
Mexican.
Catalan, yeah,
Yeah.
from Barcelona. Yeah.
I was going to say,
Next.
right. So she's American, born and bred?
Yep.
Okay.
She's a Chicago lady.
Okay, nice.
Midwestern, yep.
And was that a big change for you with your previous?
Well,
Taste
I
in
guess
women?
that's where the interview is going at. Previously, I
We
had
can-
a
we-
long... I had a relationship with a lady, a beautiful lady from Connecticut, actually.
Oh, okay, so you're
Yep.
all in on the American
I'm
girls.
all in. I mean, I've been
Okay.
here since '98. So if I was trying to keep it to my people, which
I don't think
I
that
would
means
not,
what you
I
think
would
it
not
means.
have a lot of action. I mean, or I would be very limited.
Because there's not many Catalans out here or Spanish?
Well, I mean,
Mexicans-
I'm already
Mexicans?
also like limited, just because.
Because you're
in-
5'2"?
You know, yes.
Okay.
That's one of the
Okay.
limiting factors. But if I reduce the poll to the only Catalans in town, I mean, there are beautiful ones, but
Sure.
it would make it a lot harder.
Now, are you-
So I just decided to open my.
Taste.
I don't think
Yeah.
it was you who opened, but so yeah, I went there. We're like 5 minutes in.
Wow.
So Catalonia is a place that Americans know nothing about.
Nothing.
So is it easy to lie as though you're the biggest thing in Catalonia?
You might be, right?
I mean, 5'2", you know, it's big. It's big there. It's big, not the biggest. Catalonia is actually a very interesting point right now in time. It's been a nation for forever, for many years,
Right.
at least as long as I remember. And after 500 years of being part of Spain, which they were not part of Spain before, last month they just did a vote, like in Scotland.
Okay. Oh,
It's the first step towards
Sure.
independence.
Can you move the mic a little away from your mouth? Just a little.
Away?
You're breathing into it. That's all.
Okay. How is it now?
That's better.
Okay. So yeah, they just did on September 27th. They did a vote for independence.
Oh, no kidding.
It's not a referendum yet, but it's a
Sure.
first step, and the yes won,
Okay.
which was is huge. So it's an interesting time.
And you've been so far removed. You have family still out there.
All my family's there.
But do you have an opinion on that?
I do. I don't have many opinions on many things, but I do. It's just something that people think is a choice. It's not a choice. I think in Catalan. I talked to my parents and my friends in Catalan,
Right.
and I didn't choose that.
Yeah.
I grew up with that in my brain. So
As that you were Catalan and not Spanish?
yeah.
Okay.
We also grow up at school right away. They teach you Spanish. They
Right.
teach you both languages.
Right.
So you really have both as a mother tongue. But
Sure.
but the truth is, I think in Catalan, and when you have then a country that you're part of that tells you no, that's wrong.
Right.
How could you tell me something that I didn't choose? It's not natural. Like I think in Catalan,
Right.
So that's been a little bit the issue. I love Spain. The rest of Spain is beautiful. I take all my friends to tour around Spain whenever I can. The south, the north, everywhere. I really
Right.
do. But it's just different.
How many big Catalan athletes are there? Like, are you honest to God like a thing over there?
In four wheels, we've had relative success, but in two wheels, probably in MotoGP, and Moto2 and Moto3, we've had, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't know. In the last 10 years, we maybe had 10 world championships
Oh shit. Okay.
on total, and I think 95% are Catalan. Like there's
Wow,
something
okay.
about. Actually, if you go to Barcelona, you're gonna go crazy with all the scooters flying around you in like every.
Sure.
It's just, and yeah, they were just good
But,
on motorcycles.
You know,
so they are.
like the restaurant we're at here in Santa Monica, outside of you wearing a headset, no one would know that you're anybody. But would you get recognized in Catalonia?
The first few years that I was here,
Yeah.
I did have a little bit of following, but now it's been so long that people may know my name, but
Sure.
they don't know my face, and it's part of the issues we've had. As you know, I've been racing IndyCar for 15 years, and I would say they haven't done the greatest job at international TV
Sure.
coverage,
Sure.
and it's just suffered. IndyCar in general in
Yeah.
Europe, not just in Spain. So. I mean, all that is just to say, yes, I didn't win Indy 500 once. If I would have, yes, I would be famous
You'd be
in
the biggest
Spain
thing
and everywhere in the planet, but I have not won it. So at the end of the day, no, I'm not that famous.
Okay.
That's famous.
So we're going to interview Hollywood superstar Eric Valdez in a couple of days, but I think actually your fiance now, correct?
Correct.
Jackie.
Yes.
She's out here to be an actress. That is what brought you out here to Los Angeles.
Yes.
And
You can actually, if I can, just put a little. How do you say when you put somebody
a jab?
Yeah, not a jab, like a positive.
Oh,
Not a
positive.
negative.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean,
go
I'm
on.
not going to put a negative
Shout
one.
out.
Well, I
there.
know. I thought the
Shut
jab
up.
at me was
If
coming.
you go, on Amazon on
Yeah.
video,
Uh-huh.
there's a movie that she just did. You can see now.
Okay.
It's called.
Thank you.
Wow. It's called.
By the
no,
way,
it's just
she's not going to listen to this, I hope. But
It's-
he's looking it
no,
up.
it's actually-
he's got to look it up. This is
I
amazing.
saw it last night. Okay, and she recorded the
And
movie.
it
She
was
filmed the
called-
movie. No, I mean I'll tell you in a second. I just
Wi-Fi
don't
here
want to
is
lie,
bad.
and you'll see because it's a title that can lead into confusion just because it sounds like maybe other.
bar.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
I don't.
And by that
I
mean
swear, Jackie, I
iPhone.
remember.
No, it is a great movie, and I enjoyed. Actually, she wasn't sure how much she was going to be in it, and
Sure.
she plays a decent role.
Is it in theaters?
It's on Amazon.com.
Okay.
I
It was
think
like
it-
an
I think
Amazon
it-
show or a movie?
It's a movie.
It's a movie.
It's
Okay.
a movie. It's a
All
movie.
right.
It's a movie, and it's fun. I don't know why. You're gonna have to pause this for a second.
None of this.
It's just I'm just getting a phone call I really need to take.
Oh, do it. Take
Oh,
it.
yeah, no,
take
take
it.
the call. Take
Yeah.
the call.
No, it's not true. I'm just trying to find the title.
I just lied to you.
Oh my god.
What's funny is all I've been reading about with Oriol since Sonoma was like how he's like the last honest guy and he's so true. And here he is just
What?
full of
Where'd you read that?
Oh,
Go ahead.
sorry. I knew it.
cut back in.
And you'll see. I was gonna say it wrong because I say it wrong all the time. That's
Sure.
why on air in such a obviously big audience like we have today.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say it wrong. It's called Navy SEALs versus zombies.
Yes. Did Asylum make it? Who made it?
Oh, you're not kidding.
Navy SEALs versus zombies.
What do you mean? You better watch it tonight.
I'm
I
gonna.
think we got it.
Do you
I'm
have
downloading it.
Amazon? You'll see her. Yeah.
Okay, so Navy SEAls versus zombies,
Zombies.
starring the great Jackie.
Yep.
Okay.
And she may be a Navy SEAL or she may be a zombie. You know.
You
I
don't
mean,
know.
It's your guess
that's
right
the
now.
plot point to know. Is she
Yeah.
is she a big role? Is she like one of the top 3? Or
She's I mean she's my number 1.
no, not in the movie. No one
So-
cares about
yeah,
you.
of course. That's all I had eyes for.
Okay.
So yeah, she's the reason why we moved from Florida to California.
Sure. But where I was going with this is you've seen this secondhand, I'm sure. But to me, there's a ton of parallels between the racing world and the Hollywood world. You have a lot of people that pretend to be something that aren't. What she's doing as an actress is a lot like what you would do as a driver in terms of sort of helmet in hand, trying to find whatever gig you can get on a bad year. Has your sort of racing career been able to help understand what she's going through at all?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, the answer is yes, and I don't think if I was not doing what I did all my life, I would understand so well. And even for her, she's we've been together for 8 years, so she's seen first how is it in the racing industry. When we came to California, she was filming and doing things in Miami already, but there's obviously the industry is a lot bigger here.
Sure.
And that's why we moved here. And our friend Ashley Judd told us of a good school here, and that's why we did it, and blah, blah, blah. She went to a great school. And we knew it was going to be tough.
Thank you.
Because everybody tells you how tough it is. But, you just think it's going to be tough because you go to a casting room and you were told no all the time.
Right.
The truth is, you don't get to the casting room in this town. It's hard to get management. It's hard to get it's just so tough, like way more than what people think they know. I mean,
we were just talking about this a day or two ago. At the early stage, and Jackie's past this point now, but at the early stage when you first move here, decide you want to be an actor, you'll be part of these agencies who have 5,000 people in their list. So so all Jackie is a set of criteria. She's this height, she's this hair color, she's this figure, and that's all she's being casted on basically. So somebody puts out an extras casting and they say we need a bunch of blonde girls that are 5'6", they'll call her. Otherwise, they're not really looking after her.
Yeah.
So I assume that's probably one of the toughest things for.
It is.
someone
It's
to
really
first start.
tough. It's crazy. It's crazy, but it's exactly what you say. Even successful actors that they've been on a great TV show that everybody knows for 4 seasons. That TV show then is canceled.
Yep.
They may not have a job in 3 years.
Yeah.
Or 5 or
Right.
1. They never know. It's like this uncertainty, similar to racing, that your sponsor leaves for whatever reason. That company has no more interest in racing, and then even if you had the best season of your career or the team you're with, doesn't mean you're gonna have a job next year. So
And
as you know, I've been good at that, at learning that process, and I think she's seen that you just have to keep persistent, and if you keep persisting, at the end the door will open just because you're there. But it's just so hard. It really is. It's a crazy town. It's a crazy industry, and it's probably the one industry that's worse than racing in that sense. Yeah.
Glad I chose both to make a career.
Yeah, no, it's a very stable household we have.
Yeah.
That's why the 10 children we don't have.
Yeah.
At this point. We haven't even said we're having sushi.
We are okay. That'll come up.
I mean, Oriol loves sushi. That's why we're here.
Does Oriol always talk in third person like that?
Oriol will eat sushi every day.
Is the third person the thing for you?
I think I need to start doing
Oriol
that.
thinks.
Because you always see in movies and things like that talking to oneself in the mirror seems to help.
Is that what you do? Is this
I
your
need
morning
to start
ritual?
doing it. Obviously, I think I would have had more success. Like if on race day you just look in the mirror like, you're the champion. You're going to do this. I think it has to work.
You're like Mark Wahlberg in Boogie Nights.
I want to do it. Honestly, I need to try it. I'm pretty sure it works. I'm not joking. It's just hard to change things when you're 40. You've never done it.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were like 28.
I know.
So, why this place? Is there a story about this place?
There is a story about this place. First, that I live a few blocks from here, and it's my local sushi place. But across the street, we can see a liquor or wine store, right?
Is this the Main Street Market?
Yeah, Main Street Market.
Okay.
So again, I live close by,
Yeah.
and that's the closest.
And you're a drunk.
That's the closest place that I can get my supplies.
I will.
Okay.
I'm going to interrupt you. Then just say I was surprised that an IndyCar driver ordered us beer. That's not normal. You know, most of you guys are like drinking water and like
But
eating
it's the
chicken
off
breast.
Come on.
It's the off season.
It's,
You got like a
just-
6
No,
month
I
off
love
season.
this.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I'm a
absolutely.
huge Oriol Servia fan now because you're like beer. It's like, really? This
I
is a
mean,
trap?
I don't want to give the wrong impression. I'm a extremely dedicated athlete.
No doubt.
No question.
No doubt.
That when I have a ride, I work out like a madman.
Right.
And I'm very conscious of my diet. I really am. I like to know what I'm eating.
Right.
And I've done a lot of research. And I do enjoy having you know, a little bit of alcohol here and there. I mean, I'm from Spain. You know,
Sure.
people have work lunches
Right,
with wine.
wine, yeah.
So I've grown to like wine and tequila.
There you go.
That will be my.
I almost sense like a bit of like shame.
Well,
like, he's
it's
al-
just
he's
when
like
you
almost
start
like, well,
saying it's
and-
not normal. No, actually,
But I
usually
mean-
get drunk with race car drivers.
Well,
I
yeah,
have to
for
tell you.
sure. But like, we don't know each other very well. You know, it's going to get brought up on this podcast, and you're like, yeah, let's have a beer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And I was like, this is fantastic.
I mean, it's Thursday.
Finally,
It's Thursday.
the o-
Yeah, absolutely. It's Thursday.
I mean,
two-
of course you would have a beer on
the
Thursday.
two people to
Oh,
order.
it's Sunday. Is it Sunday?
yeah, you're definitely not at work right
you're
now.
Not. It's not a work day. It's a
Yeah.
Sunday afternoon,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Not
Alright.
Thursday.
The two people to order drinks with alcohol so far have been IndyCar people.
That's interesting.
Who was the other one?
Kath and Leg.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
She
well,
had a
you
little
know,
bit of alcohol.
She was my teammate in 2006.
Right.
So, and she was a rookie. I wasn't. So there were, you know, there's a few things she took notes from.
Who could drink who under the table? Who could drink who under
Got
the
any
table?
drunk stories about her?
Yeah.
Not really. She was young.
And
So, no, we didn't take advantage.
All right. Well, I'd imagine for you it's probably not that expensive to have it because like at 4'11" and 80 pounds, like you can't drink that much. And
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to,
So-
you know, get me happy. And
What's the drink
Thank
of
you.
choice?
so
so tequila and wine.
tequila and wine usually. I
Yep.
mean, we're having beer now,
Sure.
you know. But so anyway, the story
Maybe
is
in a minute.
I
Maybe in
would
a
go
minute.
next door, and this is a very touristy street, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they do not have the cheapest prices.
Sure.
So I would always kind of not that enter an argument, but I would have this discussion, saying, "Listen, I understand that your prices are higher than anywhere else because you have a lot of tourists. But if you want the local business,
You should
I mean,
charge local prices.
you
sure.
gotta give me a little break, right?"
Yeah.
So I kept having that conversation, and this one time the guy says, "Listen, just the owner is outside. Just
I
go
love that he's a haggler. by
just,
the way.
just
was
go
thinking
talk
that.
to
Yeah,
I was
no
just
one.
thinking
Yeah,
that.
no one. I didn't
Yeah.
know that that's like a new Spanish stereotype.
He like brings in
gonna
a
agree.
suit. He's like, look,
Ah,
hang this
listen,
on the wall.
like everyone else,
Give me
you
a
just like to
discount.
pay what you think it's worth. You know, you don't want to.
How often you going in that place?
I used to go. And I mean, not
Once a week?
no. But when I would go, I would like, what the, you know. Anyway, so he tells me the owner is outside. Go talk to him. You know. So I go outside and I find these tall like me, tall man outside like me, Korean guy, extremely serious,
Okay.
probably like, 9-10 years older than me.
Okay.
And I give him my speech, and he looks very serious at me, and somehow he liked the speech, and
Oh, really?
and since then I think I was the only local that
Okay.
I was given a break.
Now, did you smile and your teeth actually like had a little sparkle come off it to go bing?
No, I
No?
think
Okay.
I don't know. I think it's just like that. I was trying to hustle him, hustler. So then he ends up buying this place where we are
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
That
Oh, okay.
used to be another sushi place that was not working at all, and he turned it around, made it very successful. And after a year of coming here, I end up actually sitting here next to him. It happened to be the day before his birthday. It was the off season, by the way.
Yeah.
And we just got drunk together, and he told me the story of his life. And
Oh,
he
okay.
has a very interesting story. He's a guy that grew up between here, Los Angeles, and South Korea, always back and forth. He starts in Korea a company with his brother
Yeah.
called Final Data, which they do data recovery for huge companies. Actually, the U.S. government, the NASA, the Santa Monica Police Department, many companies use their services. They made it a huge company, right? Him and his brother. Through that process, he one day in Korea, he's not in the entertainment business, but he gets a screenplay somehow.
Okay.
He loves the screenplay to the point that decides to make a movie.
Okay.
So he hires a director, hires the actors,
With no experience.
No
in this,
experience.
No idea what he's doing. Okay.
and makes a movie. Makes a movie that somehow gets invited to the Cannes Festival.
Wow.
As,
Shit.
as a foreign movie.
First time producer.
And
Yeah.
somehow he wins the Palme d'Or, which is the
No
most
kidding. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
prestigious award, which is sitting next to that speaker there, a little frame up. That's the
Oh,
award,
that's awesome.
Palme
Yeah,
d'Or.
yeah,
yeah.
And the
Yeah.
movie is that poster there,
that-
which is
huh.
called Old Boy,
He produced Old Boy.
which was
Holy
a.
shit.
He is the man from Old Boy.
No
It's his movie. You know Old Boy, right?
I know
It's
Old Boy.
It's
It's
a,
it's
it's a classic
up movie. But
It's an amazing story. They made the remake last year.
Yeah,
the US
with
remake.
Josh Brolin.
Yeah,
And it's terrible.
I like him. I like Josh
Josh Brolin's
Brolin,
awesome. Yeah, yeah.
But,
But
it's not
the,
even close.
The Korean. That is a
It's
screwed
such
up
a
story.
strong,
Oh.
strong story, right?
That's he did.
So he did that.
No.
He's telling me this, and then he did 10 other movies at the same time that he
Yeah,
ran
yeah.
the data
Yeah.
company. And they were all. He tells me he's like a very proud man. Of the 12 movies, 10 made money. So which is
Wow.
a very
Yeah, that's
good
hard to do.
record.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, then he had bone cancer. Spent 2 years in the hospital. Through that process, the second wife leaves him, takes all his money. He gets in a fight with the brother. So goes through this midlife crisis.
Yeah.
Beats the cancer. They had to replace his knee, titanium knee, but beats cancer. Comes back to the U.S., relaxes. He had this liquor store forever. That he had sublease. He takes control of it,
Sure.
starts running it. And then he meets me, and then we became friends.
And the rest is history.
The rest is
All
history.
right.
So now it's honestly one of my closest friends.
That's awesome.
But he's a very interesting guy that is
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
all
yeah.
this, and now
Well,
he's
that's-
just. I call him the king of Main Street. He's got
Yeah,
this,
he's got
this,
this,
looking at.
couple restaurants.
We're actually looking at opening a tapas place together, maybe.
Oh,
and
nice.
so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like
so
strip club?
I said tapas.
Oh, right,
I didn't say topless
Copy.
yet. I mean, it could get there. I mean, I
Okay.
guess actually tapas topless
Have both.
goes together.
Have
I
both.
like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm glad now the story of Louis Lee is out there, and all you can hear it. But
Nice.
yeah, this
That's
is where we
awesome.
are. Right? It's interesting, right?
Yeah. No.
Very interesting. Guy.
Old
Good-
Boy is an
good
amazing
friend.
movie.
Yeah.
Never seen it.
Have you lived anywhere else other than, where you grew up in here?
No, because before that, no, I was back home.
Just home in the States?
Yeah, back home. I raced 5 years in France before that, but I was driving back and forth because I live from, Barcelona is just an hour away from the border, and
Yeah.
so I would always drive home.
Well, and Patrick was talking about the.
That was kind of his question.
Yeah, he was that his question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have a sort of a pass it along segment where our previous
Okay.
guest asks one question of the following guest, and you'll do the same for the great Marshall Pruitt. Oh no, wait, no, what am I saying? No, next is going to be Eric Valdez. You have no idea.
No,
But don't worry about
I
that.
can do it for Marshall. I like
No, actually, it'll be Eric Valdez. 'cause he's next.
I'd rather
Oh,
give
C.J. Wilson.
I think
We're
C.J.
seeing
Wilson's
C.J.
next.
Wilson tomorrow, the Anaheim Angels pitcher who owns a Continental team.
Okay,
But we'll get to that later. You don't have to worry
Okay.
about that right now.
all right.
But Patrick was hoping you could share a little bit of light on the. I'm going to get it wrong, but there was like was it like the Total Renault
It's,
series or something like
Le
that?
Fleur.
Le Fleur, Le
Elf.
Elf.
La Filière.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I said.
What the hell is that?
La Filière was a great, actually, school / like promotion for young drivers / education.
Okay.
Like behind it was Elf,
Okay.
the big French,
French oil company.
oil company. That for many years they would sponsor drivers in the Step Up series
Yeah.
in France, and then they decided to organize it in such way where you just had just a proper organization, and drivers would do it a little bit like it happens here in a campus, that you actually go to school but you play a sport. So they were doing something similar in France, in Le Mans, and it was amazing. It was really good, and I happened to be the first promotion of that. That tells you how young I am. In 92 or 93, I think was the first year.
So you're like 6 or 7 years old.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. And it was called Campus the first year.
Okay.
And it was just a small, like skip barber cars, 100 horsepower.
Yeah.
But there were 28, all the same. And then from
Wow.
the 28, they would pick 8 guys that they would put in Formula Renault, which was a step
Yeah.
up. Then from the 8, they would pick 4 that would do a second year of Formula Renault. And then the 4, they picked 2 they do a Formula 3
Oh wow.
in France, and then from the 2, they pick
did
one
one
for the
big winner.
second year in Formula 3. So it was like a
Okay, so there's a whole
pyramid. You
pyramid
started
here.
28,
Yeah.
and then after that guy was taken to their F3000 team and Formula 1 team because
Wow.
Elf
Yeah.
had,
Yeah,
team.
they had that whole ladder.
So there's Oriol who did 5 years of a non-French
yeah.
doing the French
Development
school.
series, yeah.
I end up
Very
being the last one of my
semi-similar to
promotion.
like the Mazda Road to Indy now, kind of.
Exactly,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
So-
But really well, like 28, and it was honestly they wouldn't pay for everything, but 78 to 80% of the budget was
Yeah.
Elf, and
you
you
didn't-
had to bring 20%. So
And you didn't
it was
grow
still
up as like a rich kid that had all kinds of money.
no,
Your
it's
dad
kind of
did
the
a
only
little
thing I
off-road.
could do.
Yeah.
Because Elf was, subsidizing like 80% of the budget,
Right.
so it was really good. But you had to do well to be able to make the next step, right?
Yeah, right. But
So-
in your case, you had to. Like that was the only
I
way you
had
could
to.
afford to keep racing.
I had to.
Sure.
I had to.
Yeah,
And what happened actually is I'm the last one after 5 years left
Right.
from my promotion. Luck had to luck because it what brought me here. But that year, after 5 years dedicated to that, Elf decides to pull out of Formula One.
Yeah.
So it tells me, "Oh, Servia, yes, sorry, you did great, but we don't have a team
See ya.
F3000 anymore."
Yeah.
We may start an Indy Lights team. You want to go do a test? Sure. What is that? And I came to Button Willow.
The great
Willow.
button that comes back again.
Is that your first
My
time to the
first
States?
experience. No, I had come just as a tourist earlier, but my first
Okay.
time racing related,
was Button Willow.
Button Willow,
Scenic.
Bakersfield.
Scenic.
in
Button Willow Raceway.
2000.
This is
or
probably
No,
sorry,
late
in
90s, right?
97.
97.
It was at the
yeah.
end of 97,
Wow.
and we did a test for a potential team that Elf was going to have. As I was here, I called the only other Catalan I knew that was in the country, which happened to be Fermin Vélez, which was
Yeah.
a great driver that had won.
It all comes back around. His engineer was Jeff Brown.
Oh, I
who
didn't
we-
know
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
And they
Oh,
were like
wow.
close friends.
Yeah.
Like Fermin
He
had come and
slept in
spent.
Jeff's
Yeah,
house,
Fermin was an
yeah.
amazing guy. I didn't
Yeah.
know him well at all,
Yeah.
but he was the same height as me, and was from my city. And a common sponsor just put me in touch with him because I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
And he's like, actually, I know one of my mechanics' son works for Doricot Racing, and they're testing next week. Do you want me to see if I can get you the test? I'm like, of course. I was already here.
Yeah.
So I stayed an extra week, did the test, and they were testing 5 guys. Philip Peter, who at the time was a Swiss guy driving for
Yeah.
Audi in the DTM.
Yeah.
Then Tom Coronel, who had won the Formula either Nippon or the F3 Nippon. Garrett Reese, who was in F3000. I mean, I'm bringing up names that,
But Tom Cornell and
still races.
yeah,
in
he's a
yeah,
touring
double
car
TCC,
guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
And I was lucky that they picked Philip Peter and me.
Yeah.
And that's how, I came for a test of a team that never existed.
Yeah.
Then I came, luckily, Doricot, again, they were paying like 80% of the budget. So
Wow.
I had to bring still,
Right.
20%, but way less
That's
than
way less
anywhere
than
else.
that,
I
yeah.
didn't have money to do F3000 or anything. So
Right.
it really was okay. I'll try for a year. I saw that Indy Lights was working in the sense that whoever was champion was really moving up to IndyCar. Back then, it
Yeah.
was always automatic. It happened, even 2 or 3 guys a year.
Yeah.
So I did the first year. Doricot was a family-oriented team. They had
Yep.
their son driving, and it was the first time they decided, okay, let's. The son didn't want to drive anymore. The Bob Doricot, which was a great guy, the owner, wanted to continue the team, and they hired 2 guys, and we did okay the first year, especially for European rookies that we knew nothing about ovals.
oh sure.
Then the team expanded in '99, and they bought what was the Roger Mears team.
Yep.
And Casey Mears came on board as the 3rd driver, and we learned. It will not be. It will not make it justice. Whatever I can say of how much I learned in '99.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because my teammate was Casey Mears. The team manager was Roger Mears, and Casey a spotter and basically driver coach was Rick Mears.
Well,
So
yeah.
Yeah.
I
the thing.
soaked as
Yeah.
an European that I knew, like sometimes, if I was American, I probably would have thought I knew enough.
Right.
I knew for sure I didn't know enough about ovals,
Yeah.
especially. So I was just really, really listening all I could and learning all I could from Rick,
Yeah.
Roger, and Casey. And are you kidding? On ovals,
Yeah,
sure.
Rick just has the basics so right. so simple.
Right.
And it's things that we all kind of know, but you need to get them engraved as your base,
Right.
and that's what I did. And
Right.
and honestly, that's why I think I'm as good on ovals than non-ovals. Really,
Yeah.
as for an European, it's not
I was
the
gonna say,
most
is you've
difficult
developed
thing,
this
you know?
reputation as an oval guy.
I just
and-
learned so much from those guys. I
Really?
really did.
Yeah.
And I ended up winning the championship in '99, and we finished 1-2-3 as Dot Record Racing, first time ever done. It was a team that never won a championship, but no team had ever done 1-2-3, and we had the best year, probably one of the best years I ever had in racing. We were very competitive on track. We were racing against big teams.
Yeah.
You know, back then it's like now maybe next year some of the IndyCar teams will have Indy Lights teams.
Yeah.
Back then they did. And we were a small team that really kicked ass. And it was just because the three of us worked well together and the team had really good atmosphere and it was awesome. It was a lot of fun.
Nice.
You still keep up with Casey?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, it's like, you know, he's very busy now, obviously in NASCAR and I do other things. But whenever we see each other, it's like it was yesterday. It really is. So,
Yeah.
Great guy. Great guy. And thanks to him, then I became really good friends to Brian Vickers, Jimmy Johnson, and a little bit, you know, Chad Knaus and Jeff Gordon just because of them. But it's my NASCAR band, which is
It's a
not,
good
it's
group.
not, it's
Yeah,
not a
but
bad, not a bad one.
Good group to run
Not a
around
bad
with.
company.
Yeah.
So because there was a bunch of you in Miami for quite a while, right?
Yeah, and then I became friends with Max Papis, who's you
Yeah.
know from Italy, but it was more later when I was a little more established.
What were the Miami days like with that crew?
Honestly, just probably of all the athletes that live in Miami, probably that was the healthiest group. Just because we would really
What does that mean, healthiest?
in the sense that we were working out mainly all the time.
Or
We
like
were-
actual health.
Oh,
Yeah, not like
There weren't
cruise
cat fights
strength.
and
No,
stuff.
no.
Yeah.
We were like on the bike every day, 2-3 hours a day, and
Well,
you
that's
know,
boring.
and then you're, yeah, sorry, that was
He was looking
our
for
life.
like who bought the craziest car.
I know. Well, Tony Kanan, we're
There
talking
you
about
go.
cars. That was Tony's. Still probably is his sickness. There was one point he had 11 cars.
Yeah,
Before
for an IndyCar driver.
before everyone got married, who was the lady killer?
Honestly, we were really focused on driving. We definitely like
was going
women,
really
but
well.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's true. Like,
Well, I guess we can just talk to each other.
Yeah. all right.
you know, it wasn't that crazy. It really wasn't.
Really?
And it tells
I'm
you
just
up
having a
where
hard
different
time.
is lying,
You okay? All right.
which we do a lot.
Well, if
but
you're a little taller.
yeah, no, we didn't get that much action really.
But about down there, everyone has an accent.
That's a good
you know
point.
what I mean?
Yeah,
so
you're
it's
not
like
rare.
you're
It's
standing
not
there
like
like,
here.
hey, and they're like, yeah, that's neat. Where are you from?
Like, don't worry about the food thing. We can deal with that. Whereas here, if you have an accent, like, oh, he's so cultural.
You're right.
You know.
Right. Or Mexican.
Did you know Spencer Pimpelli killed someone?
Who?
We haven't touched on this really. We didn't talk much about it with Kat, but Oriol filled in for Justin Wilson at the finale,
Yep.
and you guys are obviously friends. In my former racing, sports car racing, like we don't have as many fatalities, fortunately, and obviously a lot more close cockpits. But what you kind of describe about the Miami group and like hanging out with some of those guys, with the fatality rate in IndyCar being quite a bit higher, do you find it hard to be friends with so many of those guys? Like, is it something you're like, I don't want to get too close because there's a chance, especially with the ovals and the high-speed stuff? Or is it just like, yeah, we'll deal with it when it comes?
It was probably an issue back in the 70s or 80s. Like,
Right.
you know, when you read any biography, or I remember reading Emerson's Fittipaldi biography, and it's just, I mean, every other race, one guy was either
Right.
dead or burned.
Sure.
So back then, I'm sure had to be something that was in their minds a lot. Nowadays, yeah, I mean, it's just really sad. It just happened with Justin and Dan. But, you know, before that it was 10 years. So
Yeah.
it's not, honestly, it's not something that is in your head at all.
Right.
That
Right.
can happen. It really is not. And, you know, the cars, the tracks are safe that you don't even, you know, break legs or arms anymore.
Right. Right.
You really don't. Like back then, still in the 80s, you know, you had a bad crash, you could mess yourself up, you wouldn't die, but, you know. But now you really don't.
Right.
I mean, it's, unfortunately, when it happens, it's really bad. It's either really, really bad or you're fine.
Or you're okay.
I mean,
yeah.
I've
Right.
raced all my life and haven't broken one bone, you know.
Yeah.
Racing, I broke my collarbone first and last time I played American football in this country, in 3 places. But, you know, not in racing. Like, so, no, it's not something you have in your mind. And if if you're not friends, it's just because you don't like the other guy, not because you think you're gonna.
So for the
you know.
right reasons.
Yeah, exactly,
I hear ya.
exactly. So, but it is really sad what just happened with Dan and what happened with Justin, and it's just it's just wrong. It just always seems to happen to the best guys. you know,
Right,
right.
So, which we know.
So you mentioned the tapas bar that you're setting up, or maybe setting up.
Maybe, yeah.
You're currently general manager. Is that the proper title with Dragon
it's-
Racing?
I mean,
I don't know what the title is. Maybe it's vague.
the title is managing director.
Managing
so get
director.
Get it right. please.
All right.
Yeah, you kind of sold him short there.
Yeah. All right. So you're you're a shop grunt at Dragon Racing, but are you setting yourself up for life after driving right now with moves like that, or are you just trying to figure out
I
what?
don't know. I think that all my life driving, as you know, you just don't have long plans because you need to decide day by day.
Your
what,
energy is on finding the next ride.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
you're gonna do and and honestly, that's the mode I'm in. I try to do things that I like. I try to, at the end of the day, as we all know, you spend most hours with work, so you might as well choose something you like. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
all my life I loved driving, and I've been lucky to be able to do it and get paid most of the times up to now, and I still want to drive. But Formula E came along in the most organic way, honestly. First, I knew the CEO, Alejandro Agag, of the championship,
Yeah.
and the people that worked for him, and I was just going to...
And you're speaking of Formula E.
Formula E,
Yeah, yeah.
I was going to just try to introduce them to some U.S. teams and U.S. drivers because they had this model that is the model that ended up happening, where they only have 10 teams,
Right.
10 franchises they call it, and they wanted to have maybe one or two from the U.S. So I just found myself, when I was telling the story of what Formula E was going to be,
Yeah.
very excited about it,
Yeah.
because I did like the concept that they do street racing. As you know, in IndyCar I've done plenty of street races, and street races work. You bring the race to the people, and it's unless it's horribly managed, it's usually a success. So I like that. I like that being electric, regardless of what you think in terms of how many electric cars are going to be out there in the future,
Yeah.
there are going to be some, because it's the only way manufacturers have to really get to the pollution levels that the government makes them get to. So every car manufacturer is going to have an electric car or has one already. So it's a market that needs to be, have its own racing outlet
Right.
also, where manufacturers can showcase their technology.
Right.
So I like that. I like many things about it. I like that it's a world championship.
Right.
And I like that there's only going to be 10 teams, meaning there's a value in owning a team, because the first year we all race the same car, all teams, and then the second year technology starts opening up. So manufacturers may have an interest. And they have an interest, they have to make the appearance through one of the existing franchises. So there's actually a value in having a franchise. And then when I was talking to a few teams, Jay Penske had an IndyCar team, Dragon Racing, really liked this concept. And we decided to partner up and see if we could get a franchise, which was not easy because a lot of teams were trying to get one, and we got a franchise, and that's how it happened, really.
But the plan is like every year or so to keep opening.
They
and
keep opening, but
opening.
I think they're doing a good job that they open it so there's going to be some relevancy to what technology you use,
Sure.
but they're not letting you go crazy like in Formula One that
Right.
you can spend $200 million at all.
Right.
So
Right. Interesting. All right.
What's the budget for the year for that thing?
it's around $8 million for the whole team, and that means
that's
4 cars.
Oh, 4 cars.
Yeah, because each driver has 2 cars.
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
So it's kind of like half of an IndyCar budget, really,
Yeah.
because you spend 6, 7 in
I
an
mean, it's basically
IndyCar.
like
Yeah.
a DP kind of budget,
Yeah,
more or less.
Right,
So.
but a lot more travel.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. you're all over the
Yeah,
planet,
that's a lot
but-
of the budget goes
Exactly,
in travel.
exactly,
You
yeah.
know, you have to travel the whole crew.
Yeah,
and
that makes sense.
And are they all
So-
crew that are coming through the series? Like they're all like off-season F3000 guys, or
Each team does it a little different.
Okay.
We try to have our core guys to be a little bit US because it's what we've been doing. I
Sure.
mean, Jay has an IndyCar team, and myself, really, I know 90% of the racing people I know is in the US because I've been here for 17 years already. So, but we do hire a lot of people from Europe too, just because it's more like weekend warriors.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, as managing director,
Correct.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, not general manager.
That is a big
Excuse
deal.
me. How are you liking that? I mean, what are the responsibilities in terms of relative to what you're doing?
Let me make up something.
Okay.
A lot of ins, a lot of outs, a lot of what have yous.
lot of
It's
work.
like he's like the Jordan Schlansky of Dragon Racing. He's just like
No,
I have
you know-
various roles and
You know, I
responsibilities.
do things from day to day.
one foot in front of the
we're
other.
getting him fired.
No, the truth is, you know, we
Look at him flinch. It's awesome.
We-
One foot in front of the other.
we call most of the time we call it like managing director, that I'm doing this thing that is very different than what I did before as a driver.
Yeah.
The truth is, it's not. It's almost the same.
Really?
I just don't get on the car on Sunday. But all my career, I had to deal with engineers.
Yeah.
And I've always been a guy that likes to work with engineers. Some
Yeah.
drivers don't care, and some are, you know, everything works different for every driver, right?
Yeah.
But I always did like working with engineers. And at the same time, I always had to, I wouldn't say find, but try to find sponsorship.
Sure.
Yeah.
As a driver, unfortunately, you have to do that. And now in the team, it's what I do. I try to lead a little bit the engineers on the way I would like them to work. If I was
Right.
the, you know, I've been to so many teams in IndyCar.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, for my success, I had to almost change teams every year. So I've taken notes, like, you know, not really written notes, but in my brain of what works and what doesn't work.
Right. Well, and you have a good network of people.
Now
around
at
you, too.
Dragon, I try to a little bit do that as much as I can. Try to make us work as I would like us to work from an engineering point of view, and then I try to lead the commercial side, also trying to get sponsorship for the series, for the team. So
Right.
it's
Is
not
it-
that different than what I did
I was going
before.
to say, it's on the commercial side, since so many drivers now have to bring their own funding, I assume that's not terribly different from what the last 10 years have been like for you anyway.
You know, not that I was successful at finding money.
Well, you and I have worked on a couple sponsorship proposals. I mean, how hard
Yes.
is that for you? I mean, it seems to me like racing is really hard to actually sell valued sponsorships.
Like the fans would be surprised how good most of us drivers are at PowerPoint.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
We really are.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot
Yeah.
about. I mean, I can put a presentation together in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like I did 2 this morning, just like that. You know. You
Yeah.
just have to. You just have to. There's
Yeah.
always something, you know, someone interested or maybe interested, and you have to pitch them. And
Yeah.
and you're never as good as a proper commercial agency, to be honest. But,
Sure.
but you just don't have the means to hire agencies,
Right.
and you
Yeah.
just have to do it yourself.
Well, especially
And-
because, you know, I don't think people realize there are so many kind of bullshit opportunities, and you don't know if it's bullshit or not, so you have to run
You
with it.
have
So
to-
you
Right.
can't bring in an
Every
agency.
single meeting you have
Yeah.
to take.
Yeah. So you can't bring in an agency because they're not going to waste their time with, you know, I got 6 different people on the line today, and they're just not going to drop everything for that. And if they could, you couldn't afford it. So,
yeah, exactly.
you know,
exactly.
um,
So anyway, it's not that different, honestly,
Right.
to what I did. I just don't get on the car on Saturday and drive.
Right.
And for that reason, I'm out. No, and for that reason, I really last year I put the last actually year and a half I put
Yeah.
almost all my time into organizing the
Yeah.
team a little bit, and I enjoyed it a lot, and I still want to do it, but I miss driving too much.
Sure.
I did the Indy 500, which is something I hope I can do many, many years, especially this year, which
Yeah.
is the
100.
deer race. But it was in August. I spent the whole month of August in Donington, which is 2 hours north of London, just getting the team ready for
Yeah.
this next season. And in my head, I already decided that I wanted to find
you want to be driving.
a program,
Yeah.
a racing program. All my life, I just looked in IndyCar, and I'm like, I hope it's IndyCar, but it's so hard to find a budget.
Right.
At this point, it could happen, but I don't know that I want to drive anything, and hopefully it's a good program. So
Right.
I don't care what series, what level, just something that maybe if we do it right, we can win that category, whatever it is.
Right.
And I went to Austin, met with a lot of people. I went to GRC here in Long Beach, met with a lot of people, and I'm just very interested in anything, honestly, that has a proper program.
Well, that's when you and I first met, which was 2009, and I got it, and then 2010. 2010 was sort of a lean year for you with driving.
It was.
And so that's when you and I got to know each other the best. But at the time, you were pretty much set on IndyCar. That's where you wanted to look. And I remember there was a little bit of resistance to sports cars because you just felt like you still had several good IndyCars years
Yeah,
left.
and you feel like you're going to lose the train if you jump, you know? Not that you don't like sports cars or endurance, but I had invested all my life in open wheel, and I didn't want to miss the train
if there was another opportunity.
But
and it worked out. I mean, you had a really good 2011.
I cannot complain. I cannot complain. But I definitely have to.
Since I work in sports car racing, that's all I've ever done. Is this your guy?
You just met the king of Main Street right now.
There he
walking
is.
in.
Walking in.
He does look like a king. Carrying what is that? Vegetable oil and a bag of lettuce.
Yeah. I'm guessing he's a hands-on
Those
guy.
are cucumbers.
He's
and
hands-on.
He's coming in
stocking
with
the bar.
supplies
Yeah.
and holy. He's the
coming
man.
over.
Here he is.
There better be
Look
like
at
a
this.
bro
Oh,
handshake
he's got that
here.
suave swagger.
There better be
too.
a bro handshake.
No, it's cool, man. Come
Yeah,
on
come
in.
on over.
He's got that swagger. I like that.
Believe it or not,
Take a seat. Hey,
Louis.
Sean.
Hey, I'm Ryan. Nice to meet you.
Louis?
Louis, take a seat
You want to
because
give him a headset?
somehow this man has seen Old Boy before.
Absolutely love it. Yeah.
So much.
Oh, there. Hello.
Hello.
Do we want to get 4 going?
Sure.
Why not?
Yeah.
No, actually 3 is okay.
He's got to work.
Okay.
All right.
We'll do a quick.
Okay.
Quick
okay.
sidebar.
I was not prepared to meet you, so I have no idea what I'm supposed to ask. But the story of Old Boy.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't your story. Somebody else gave you that idea.
It
or?
was from a Japanese cartoon.
Right.
Yeah, we bought the right,
and you saw that story, and went, yeah, that'll work.
Yeah.
Really?
I think so, yeah.
Wow. You
lot
never
of
at one
action.
point went, oh, that's too screwed up to put
Yeah.
into a movie.
No. Yeah, we twist the story a lot, but
Okay.
yeah, it came out pretty well, I think.
Now, did you see the American version?
Yes, I did.
And did you? You don't have to say yes or no, but shake your head if it's dog shit compared to your movie.
He didn't say anything.
I didn't say anything.
Nothing was said.
All right.
No.
Well, that is an excellent movie. It's f***ed up, but it's an amazing movie.
Oh, thank you
So
so
that's-
much. I really appreciate it.
All right.
And also, awesome, lovely
Yeah,
place
this
here.
is the
Food's
food is
been very
fantastic.
good.
Oh, thank you
yeah,
so
Oriol
much.
speaks very highly of you.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
The
wow.
mayor of Main Street.
Yeah, no, he's got a
He
crush on
sure
you.
doesn't acting like it, but I thank you very much. Okay.
Awesome.
So,
Thanks, Louis.
all right.
Thank you.
Take care. That's awesome. That's so funny.
There you go.
All
Yep.
right.
Well, we've gotten to know a lot about him. Not so much about you, but that's okay.
Yeah. Why can't you be more outgoing?
How
No, that's actually so. There's, I actually think sports cars for you could be a really, really good move, and so much of sports car race, like the challenge you've had in IndyCar is that you have to go out and actually sell the value of IndyCar or any sort of sports car racing, which is a very, very hard sell these days. Whereas in sports car, I mean, Ryan's able to get a lot of rides because he's likable.
That's exactly where I was going
yeah.
before Louis sat down. Was that your personality? I've never met you before today, and immediately I feel very comfortable around you. You're engaging, personable, and just friendly. And a lot of guys from your side of the world that I refer to as open wheel guys, they tend to be a little bit competitive in nature, even though we're having lunch,
Yeah.
and it's laid back. I think you'd do well. I think you'd be able to, because a lot of the time it's finding a guy that's wealthy guy that wants to go race with you, and if he likes you, even if you're not winning every race, you go race for years together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that could be right up your alley.
Yeah, I don't know. I think so. I mean, there's that, and there's also that. Even in open wheel, I've always been a guy that it takes me a while to warm up. Like I think that's why I like the 500 so much, or long races. I usually, take my time,
Right.
and it's at the end that I really, go for it. And an endurance race, I think that's a lot about that. That you gotta come a little bit yourself and have the big picture in your head. So. I don't know. I think it would fit me. I usually finish races, and that's kind of important in endurance. So we'll see. I really hope I have my shot at a good program.
Well, and you have a reputation as being a very intelligent driver that doesn't do stupid.
Yeah, you just gotta pay the right people. man.
Exactly. But in sports car, I'd say sports car has way less patience for crashing than open wheel, more or less.
Yeah.
And so I think it would be a very good move. So do you think that'll be happening? I mean, do we expect to see you in sports cars in the future?
I haven't exchanged contracts with anyone yet.
Sure.
As it's far. But again, I went to Austin. There was the Tudor
This
series
was for the Tudor and WEC.
and the WEC, and I had some promising conversations, but I don't know. People maybe were just nice to me, and and I guess we'll find out soon. I don't know.
When we were with Andy, he was in a moment where he was trying to figure out, literally mid-conversation, he was getting text messages about a prospective guy who had money, and it didn't necessarily work out. Do you get a lot of these bullshit guys that call you like, "Oh, Oriol, I've got this investor who wants to go racing and blah blah blah"? How many of these assholes come across your
I
desk?
mean, I'll tell you that I had many,
Yeah.
Right.
many. Like I think most of us in racing had many. The craziest one was these two guys. What year was it? Wow, I don't want to say it wrong. I think it was 2008, 2009. 2009. That they had a huge budget.
Okay.
They really did,
Sure.
right? They went and they had 3 visits at the Forsyth shop, which was a fantastic shop in Indianapolis.
Sure.
Forsyth had just stopped their champ car operations,
Yeah.
and it was available. And they went to see it 3 times, exchanged contracts to buy it. They had very clear path of what they wanted to do. Long-term contract. They wanted to hire Sebastian Bourdais, who was almost ready to sign his second season at Toro Rosso in Formula One.
Yep.
But they wanted him very aggressively, and they were going back and forth in contracts. And I was talking to Sebastian because I was the other driver, and
Yeah.
we were talking, and it seemed like really good. I was talking to Forsyth just to check, and that was all going through. And it turned out to be crazy. Like it was one day away that actually Sebastian was talking to the Red Bull owner, the main owner, Dieter Mateschitz, and was telling him, I think I'm not going to do a second season here. I'm going to go back to
the
America.
US, yeah.
There is a good program, blah, blah, blah. And Dieter convinced him to stay. Like the last day, he was telling me, okay, I'm going to sign. Like I thought he was signing. So he doesn't sign. And then it was going to be myself and Justin Wilson, actually.
Okay.
And the same contract exchange, blah, 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 blah. Very good contract. I was really happy finally. And it was all 2 guys completely nuts and crazy.
Yeah.
Out of his little home, 1 studio apartment. I mean, at the end we did a lot of research. Tagliani also was going to be there. We end up. I don't think we hired the PI, but we end up doing investigation, and it was just a complete bullshit. And then we find out a lot of people that they had. Derek Walker, one of them, many years before, and a lot of people. And he was a completely crazy guy that ended up hanging himself 3 years later.
Wow.
But it was unbelievable how
far he got.
It opened my eyes, like how easy it is to scam people.
Yeah.
Because all you need is it's crazy.
Yeah.
Really serious. It wasn't just me. I could be fooled easily, honestly, but there's so many people in it. And because there's so many people, you end up believing them. But that was the extreme. But I had so many. Like they're not generally trying to scam you, but they're just overselling something that is not true, and there's no balls, and then you believe it, and then you get yourself in the wrong.
Well, and this is my point. It's like it seems like this is a recurring. Everybody's got one of these stories where they take 17 meetings and fly a guy out, and it turns out the whole thing was a scam.
And can you imagine Sebastian would have almost given up?
Doesn't go to F1 again.
A Formula One seat. Crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yet you have one of these almost every year, right?
Oh yeah. You have several, and but it's the same as a sponsor. You need to be open to all of it, and until it falls through. And and many times you can see it coming, but you still have to.
Still got to do it.
Yeah.
There are the flip side of that. There are times where people call you and you're like, yeah, no way. Like this is fake.
Yeah.
And then it goes somewhere and you're like, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
On that same token, you've got this reputation as like the nicest guy in the paddock. No one's an enemy of yours. But that can't be true. There's got to be someone you're like, oh, that guy's a
I'm
like
sure there are.
No, I mean, you've got to think that of others,
keeping it quiet, they're smart,
No, but there's got to be guys in the paddock that you avoid. Yes. Look at that pause.
No, there's just people you like more than others. Like in class when you're, it's cool. Like, there's people, But no.
There's not like a rival or anybody that you always kind of bashed up against or clashed.
You just
with.
hate idiots, whatever they are.
Right.
There's of course, there's some drivers that are idiots because there's, like everywhere else, and more than anything, when I say idiot, is someone that is out there not really caring. We've all given our lives to the sport, and we're all dedicated, and we all make mistakes. But when you see someone without respect for not just your life, because it's obviously it's dangerous, but also just you're putting everything you can, and then somebody throws your race away because it's the third time that does a stupid mistake without
Yeah.
even thinking too much, then you get upset. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, if it's you crash because you both tried to go for a corner and it's racing, you know, and it's gonna happen. But if somebody just it's careless, then that's when you get upset. And I have not much tolerance, and then maybe the few guys I had issues are with that kind of thing. But
Right.
but even when I had strong rivalries, no,
Rivalries.
rivalry.
It's all right.
Exactly.
Second language for you.
You know, you end up gaining a respect for the other person because obviously you know how good you are, and that other person is actually beating you here and there. And
Yeah.
like, that guy obviously is.
He must be amazing.
Must be amazing.
Yeah.
So you have to you just gain respect for the other guy because it just beats you. So
Right.
So with that, our next
Guest is
CJ Wilson.
Anaheim Angels pitcher / owner of CJ Wilson Racing in the Continental Tire Sports Car Series.
Yeah, he owns a
Okay.
two-car team. They just won the MX-5, or they won the ST class with their MX-5 Mazda. And he's a huge racing guy. He has a McLaren. He's just
Oh, cool.
car crazy.
Yep.
So he'll be pretty stoked to get a question from you.
From IndyCar legend Oriol Servia. But he lives down in Newport.
Well,
He's a pitcher for the Angels.
Okay, I'll have to think about it maybe
Take a minute.
a little bit. But there's my only two connections to we're talking about football right now. My only two connections to baseball are I went to see an Angels game in '98 when I was in Indy Lights with the promotion,
yeah.
and I went to see an Angels game, and then a couple of years ago when we were racing in Baltimore, I threw the first
Here it
pitch
comes.
for the Baltimore Orioles, of course.
Of course.
Of course, a natural
Okay.
favorite of the city. And I did make it,
Over the
did.
plate?
Yep.
You
Did
did
you catch it?
make it?
Sorry?
You did make
I
it?
did.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
All right.
I mean, I had to
Was
practice
that is that
my-
nerve wracking? Like, oh,
It is.
I'm such
It
an
is,
yeah.
and I didn't think it was that a big deal before. And my
And then
team
you're
owner at
there.
the time was Dennis Reinbold, who's a good pitcher himself, and his son plays,
Yeah.
and he started telling me like, dude, you gotta practice,
So I think, yeah. So that's something. Did you go out to the
like a lot of times people will throw and it will go down because you're not used to being up in the little mountain. And I'm like, a little mountain. It's like what?
Little
5
mountain.
inches? Like I can throw a ball. I mean, I'm not gonna, but I can get there. And like, you better try. And I have to say, I'm glad we did practice. We
You did?
like
Okay.
like 2-3 races before we would start and gladly I
practice?
did. Not, we just.
Oh, you didn't like find a mound at a park
No,
out here.
no, but
Okay.
he
It's called a
he-
mound,
throw
by
it.
the way.
the mound, he
little
he
mountain.
taught me how to grab the ball and throw it, and I mean it wasn't an amazing pitch, but at least I made it. So.
You got it there, and you were
It wa-
generally in the zone for the catcher.
yes,
Okay.
I
Alright.
did. No,
If he-
no,
if he
I
caught
have
it-
to say,
if
I
he
have
caught
to
it,
say,
we're
it
okay.
was okay
Alright.
for a Catalan boy.
Never been to a game.
For a Catalan Oriol, it was pretty good. But I have to think of a question. I mean, has he ever raced himself?
Yeah, he does like the 25 hours of Thunder Hill with
Oh,
his team
cool.
every year, but because of his contracts, he can't do anything during the season,
Yeah.
and they play all the way through basically. So he's only able to really do that one race because it's December 5th,
Yeah.
and then he goes to spring training in February.
I actually almost did that race last year with a friend. So
Oh, yeah?
we
Didn't miss
may be racing. What?
Didn't miss anything.
You got to do it this year?
Why not?
I say this not driving.
He
being
hates
like a media
Thunder Hill.
guy, I can't stand that race.
Why not? What's
Because
wrong
I'm
with
not
it?
driving. It's not fun if you're not driving.
Yeah,
it's like
true.
all the stuff that you experience at a 24-hour race, like at Daytona, but with none of the prestige, facilities, food, warmth, like in there. No, it's a miserable event. It's awesome if you're a driver. So for anybody who's
fun,
out club
yeah.
racing, I totally get why you'd want to do it. But if you're doing video work or you're a crew guy, what the no, I have no interest in that event. That's just me. I'm angry. I'm old. But no.
Are you going to do it this year?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Alright.
Yeah, I haven't actually. My friend is not here anymore. The one I was gonna do it with, so I don't know. And I still have to think about a question. It's just it's such a different world. Baseball for the Spaniard. We don't
Doesn't
even.
have to be about baseball. He's a racer.
I know. I
anything you
know.
He also knows about dating models and actresses.
Lots of things in common with you.
Yeah.
Well, let's keep going. I'll think of something. I'll try to think of something.
Okay. Well, here's a very generic question, but what people know about you is what they read or see in random little sound bites. What do people not know about you? What's the secret Oriole that we don't know about?
Or is there a hobby that...
I already talked about tequila.
Yeah. Is that the drink of choice?
Yeah.
Is that a new thing, or is that
No.
all life?
Not
Lifelong
not all life. No, maybe. Started when I became really close friends with Michel Jourdain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Had to be with a Mexican, obviously. And back home, the only tequila we get is, not to say a brand, but
You say, Brian.
We don't
it's
care.
Cuervo. And actually,
Yeah.
Cuervo has good tequilas, but the one we all seen is the one that will make you really hangover the next day. So
Right, yeah.
back in Spain or in Europe in general, there's really hard to find any decent tequila.
Mhm.
I'm not
Sure.
very picky, just any decent. And Michelle taught me a lot about tequila, and if you don't mix it with anything, you hardly ever have a hangover. And it's so
That's
uh,
life lessons by Oriol Servia.
yeah, and
So-
Michel Jourdain. So it's probably, I don't know, 10 years I started liking a little more tequila than anything else. If I'm gonna drink, I'm gonna drink tequila.
Right. What's your take on Caitlyn Jenner?
It just amazes me, and it shows again how much we've missed in IndyCar when you have such a great product and you cannot make it popular, and some other, I don't even know how to call it. It's not even I don't know what it is, that family, but they've created an empire from really not much substance, let's say.
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely.
And in general,
That's very well
they
stated.
yeah.
they keep, they find ways to reinvent each one of them and have millions of followers. Not that we want all millions of followers, but that brings obviously
Right.
money
Sure.
and sponsorship,
Yeah.
and we've been trying to figure out how to make IndyCar work and racing in general, and this family alone has a bigger budget than probably
Yeah.
50% of the racing in this country. So it's kind of crazy.
I thought you were totally skirting the question. You were just going to answer something else, and you brought it back.
No, I
That's,
mean, it's really, it's
so-
crazy. It really, I mean,
yeah.
we all can think whatever we want, but the truth is, there's lessons there to,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
notes to take. And
So-
it's just like unbelievable.
IndyCar needs to hire the Kardashians.
That's
They actually
boom.
did. They did 1 year. They were sponsoring
Oh,
Graham
they did?
Rahal's
Yeah,
car
I
at
remember
the
it was that, like,
500.
weird perfume line or
and
something,
it,
right?
and it was a year I wasn't driving, but I went. IndyCar used to bring celebrities. I think they still do, back and forth in their plane when IndyCar had a plane. And on the way back, I flew back with all the celebrities, and all the celebrities were getting along. They had a blast at the 500. Who
Yeah.
doesn't? And they were all
Did
together.
they stay for the race, or is it like they go to the Indy 500
No,
and they
no.
leave at green flag?
No. They stayed the
They
whole
stayed,
race.
okay.
They actually come usually a couple of days before,
No
and
shit.
they get a
Wow.
feel for the race. And they,
Okay.
I mean, honestly, all the celebrities they come, they have a blast because it's a great event. It's like the Kentucky Derby. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just amazing, as you know. And I have nothing, as you saw. It's not like I went and put a jab on the family, but there were a lot of celebrities. Jeremy Renner, like great
Yeah.
big celebrities. They were all having a great time at the back of the plane. And just the Kardashians were at the front, completely like
Oh,
having
not
the
into it.
worst time,
Oh,
not
really?
interacting with anyone. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It made me like not really want it. Not that I ever wanted to be them, but it was like, they don't seem to be having fun in
They're
life.
not happy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they just had a bad day, But
Sure.
I'm just saying the rest of the celebrities just really hang, and
Just
they
enjoy
were
it.
not.
That's cool.
They probably didn't want to share a private plane with other people. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe use
So they
it
were in their
because
own
they
little
don't-
section, and you're like hanging with Jeremy Renner,
Yeah.
doing blow and all kinds of stuff.
No, that was not going on.
All right.
It's
How
not
many
the-
strippers would you say were on the plane?
None. It wasn't. Again, it was an IndyCar. It was an IndyCar venue.
How many strippers will be at the tapas place you're opening?
Anyone that wants to come and have a good time. I mean,
right.
I'm not discriminating.
Well, have you guys thought of a name yet?
No.
Okay.
No, but
We can
tapas,
help with
topless tapas sounds pretty
Just
good.
Topless.
Orioles
Tapas.
cookies.
Or
Oreos cookies.
have you ever seen There Will Be Blood?
Yes.
You have?
Really?
There will be blood?
Yeah. They're okay. Can you?
Could you do a line from that movie?
Wow.
Daniel Plainview.
I don't think so.
I drink your milkshake. Let's try it. Come on.
Really?
Yeah, do it.
What's the line?
I drink your milkshake. I drink it up.
Every day.
Why that movie?
It's
What's
just a theme for us as we've been
Oh, is
driving.
it?
Yeah. There's no context for this. It's just we've been talking about There Will Be Blood for like 6 days, and it's not made its way into a webcast yet.
So I
And
flipped,
he has
So we
to
just
be-
figured you'd be the one to kick it off for us. We
What's
just
the
wanna-
line?
It doesn't have to be that line. Any Daniel Plainview line. So
you'd say I've abandoned my child.
yeah, that'll do. Or no.
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do.
You guys.
This is all we've been talking about for
It's
like
been
6 days.
6 days. Of
Is
There
that
Will
your
Be
favorite
Blood.
movie? Like you guys had to.
It's just for some reason today.
I
Yeah.
enjoyed the movie, and I've got like a bunch of stuff on iTunes already that I've already downloaded or bought.
Yep.
And so I had to fly right after Petite to Coda to go coach.
Uh-huh.
And on the flight back, I just downloaded that. And so the last thing I watched before this trip started was that movie. And for some reason, I was like, "Hey, Sean," on like day 1, 2 hours in, I'm like, "Hey, Sean, you've seen There Will Be Blood, right?" He's like, "Yeah." And then we just started going into movie line after movie line for no
For
reason,
no reason
whatsoever.
So it's just, yeah.
I'm horrible. Like I don't know. I like to think that my brain works, but when it comes down to remembering either lyrics
Okay.
from songs
Right.
or lines from movies, like
We're giving you the lines. You don't have to know the lines.
You're gonna
I'm finished.
Give me the blood, Lord.
Give me the blood, Lord.
give
on,
me
do
the
something.
give me the what?
Did you have to do it in that voice? Like, give me the blood, Lord.
The blood.
Give me the. He's sitting there getting slapped around by Paul Dano. I'm a sinner.
I'm a sinner.
I've abandoned my child.
I've abandoned my child. No idea. Okay.
I just like listening to you coming out with more and more lines.
I'm just throwing it out there. All right. Let's figure it. Spice it up.
It's only
C.J.
fair.
Wilson. It's only fair.
Wait. On that
Wow.
on that topic, what would you say your favorite movie is? Like, do you have a go-to like every time? You know.
A movie that I've always liked a lot is Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Do you
totally.
quote that all the time?
You know,
Sorry?
Do you quote that all the time?
Yeah, I think I have. But I also quoted Almost Famous, which is more of a girly
Oh.
movie.
Wow.
Wow, that
What
says a
what
lot.
movie lines do you have from that?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Anything.
What movie lines do you have from that one?
I told you I don't remember any lines.
All right, how about this?
Ever.
Okay.
Ever.
All right, how about your
Settle,
best-
actually,
settle down. Settle
I
down.
like
No.
I like when Kate Hudson says, "You are home." See that's the
All
line I
right,
remember.
Done.
I think that should be his video. Because the hand.
Standing. Yeah.
The
What is it?
hand.
You
That's
are
actually a
home.
magical
are
moment
home.
in the movie. You are home.
Do you read lines with your girlfriend, with your fiance?
I have,
Yeah.
yes, but I have to have the paper. It doesn't matter, like even
You just can't
songs. Like
remember
I'm actually. When you asked me earlier what people don't know, I think people know because I've said it too many times now. I love karaoke.
Oh.
All right.
I do.
What's your go-to song? Because I
It's,
karaoke
it is
myself.
My Way. It's probably the only song I know the lyrics.
It is My Way?
My
My
way.
Way.
My
Oh,
way.
My Way.
Yeah.
Got it.
My Way.
He Spanishized it.
And I probably sang My Way without exaggeration 2,000 times, and
And are you, is
and
that,
I still need to see the lyrics here and there.
are you
So that just
the whole
tells you
time
the
like,
intellectual
yeah,
level
that's
here.
not the word. Yeah. What do you karaoke around here?
For many years, I would travel to the races with this great piece of engineering, this product that now I think a lot of people know, but back then, I'm talking about 2002, 2003, I had never seen, and Michel Jourdain is the one that introduced me to it. It's a microphone that it plugs directly into the TV, and the microphone has 2,000 songs already, so on any TV works. So
Whoa,
I would take it with me to the
wow.
races, and Sunday after the races, we'd go to my room, and
And that's it.
that was as crazy as it would get.
Who's the
We
worst singer?
We would go and sing karaoke in my
Who's
room.
surprisingly good?
Okay.
Who's somebody that you would be like, yeah, let's get him to sing, and he blew you away?
Jimmy Vassar is a natural.
Velvet voice. I can see
I
this.
can see that.
Yeah, he's a talented musician.
Yeah, I can see that.
And yeah,
Who's the worst?
Yeah.
probably Tony Kanan.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's possible.
Tony wasn't the most gifted singer. Cristiano D'Amata is amazing. He played guitar since he's like 6 or 7 years old, so
Yeah.
he was able to just play anything. And,
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun. And then Michelle and me were just, good supporters, and we just try our best at a good time.
You ever come to Atlanta, you got to look me up. We have a bar called Meddlesome Monday,
Okay.
and they play rock and roll songs with a live band, and you sing with the
Oh,
band.
wow.
And it is
That's
It's a thing.
too much. Like actually.
it's not too much because they play the music so much louder than you
Oh, okay.
that you think you sound amazing. And we learned this because a friend of ours hired them for his wedding, and he did it at the
At the aquarium.
That's
like
that's
this
fine. That could be fun.
Atlanta Museum. And Sean put a camera on top, like the very top of the building. We're talking like 100 feet in the air,
Yeah.
and none of us knew about it. And so you go up there.
That's the kind of guy.
Right. Yeah, he's a true friend. And so you go up and you sing, and the band's so good and loud that everyone, the first thing you do is you get off and you go to your friends like, "Did I sound okay?" And you're like, "You sounded awesome." And of course, you're inebriated as well.
Yeah.
But you listen to your friend, you're like, no, he sounds great. So then Sean, like 2 months after the wedding, posts links to all the videos of us singing, and it's from far enough away that the band's not very loud and the vocals are extremely loud, and we sounded absolutely terrible.
Fantastic.
Terrible. Like I'm never singing again. That's it. It's that bad. But in person, good to go.
Sounds great.
Good to go. Yeah.
I cannot sing in, like, I say karaoke, but I cannot sing in front of an audience. Like, I like the Japanese way that you go to a small room and you sing in front of your 3 friends that you got drunk already before getting there.
Right.
If in front of an audience, I just can't. It's too much.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So,
CJ Wilson
CJ Wilson
is our next
question.
guest.
Oh,
We can give you a minute.
I still need a question, huh?
Yeah.
I like how much people put pressure on themselves.
Yeah, like
when we
it
get
gets
to
on
this.
that, like this
you know,
actually
you should have
matters.
told me before. I mean, you don't want to sound like an idiot. And like, really, is that what this guy's gonna ask me?
I guarantee
what is,
you-
what is he from originally? Let's see.
He's from Anaheim. He actually started
So
playing.
he's one of the few locals.
Yeah, he started playing in the majors. I think his first team was the Texas Rangers, and then he got traded to Anaheim, which he obviously wanted to do because he's from here. But again, the pressure that people put themselves.
Yeah.
Well-
It's somehow a big deal.
No, I mean, we can start with a simple question of CJ. Have you ever been to Barcelona? Are you looking forward? If not, I can tell you a good tapas place not close by soon. I don't know. I wonder the first question, because when you're like whatever sport, and obviously the guy is very successful, so I'm sure he dedicated himself to baseball and nothing else. What was the first thing that gave him the itch about driving or racing? Was it a movie he saw? Was it Days of Thunder? Was it a go-kart day with his dad at K1? Or you know, what is it that from someone that is not in the sport made him like really make it his number one hobby, I guess, or I mean more than that if he has a team. So that's the best I can come up with right now.
That's
That's a
solid.
good one. That's
absolutely
actually a good
solid.
question.
Absolutely solid. So we had lunch with the Speed Freaks yesterday, and it sounds like you know them.
I may have been lucky enough to have a couple of interviews with them.
Okay.
One of them at the museum, at the Pearson Museum.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
That's
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
fantastic. It was
Exactly.
also like, it was at night, so it was dark, just where we were, in the middle of such a cool museum, great
Yeah.
cars. It wasn't that they were any good, but the museum doing it there was awesome. No, they're awesome. They're great. They're a lot of fun. They know what they're talking about. It's always a pleasure to be with them. What was the question?
No, I'm done.
Kenny
That's
Sargent,
good.
his question for Patrick Long was, out of the best drivers out there, IndyCar, sports cars, whose piss-soaked seat would you most like to sit in?
Wow.
So it's more a question of sitting in piss than it is about talent.
That's the best quote.
I mean, that's the thing. That's one of probably number one, like, better things that you have in open wheel, that you don't have to share that wet seat with anyone else.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You just have to make sure you buy dinner to who, whatever mechanic will have to
Has to
take that
clean
seat
deal
out.
with that, sure.
But you don't have to sit on anyone else's.
Have you ever pissed in the seat?
I have.
Really?
Not many times.
Wow, no, you're the first person who's ever admitted to that. And I
What?
have
I know
so
two
much
others.
respect
I
for
know
you.
two others. Yeah.
No, everyone, every time because you go to a lot of like sponsored dinners and stuff like that.
What are you doing? You have to go to the
Yeah.
Yeah,
bathroom.
and that's always the most
and
common
the
question.
truth is, I not often I sweat a lot, so
yeah.
I just don't have the need. But there was this driver, which I will name,
Yes.
Pedro de la Rosa, which is
Uh-huh.
a very, very, very close friend.
I'm going to Google him real quick.
Yeah, and he used to tell me that he used to pee almost every race. And I was like, how can you? I mean, how can even you do it physically? You're
Right.
there like in a race.
I've tried once and I just couldn't get it out. That was the only
So-
time I ever gave up.
So after having this conversation with him for years, the first time I ever did was Portland 2001 was a very rainy race in kart then, and we had this extremely long yellow. And as I said before the race, you drink a lot,
Yeah.
you're gonna sweat, but it's raining and there's this long yellow, so raining makes you a little more nervous
Yeah.
because you can make obviously easily mistakes. It's cold, longest yellow ever. I'm like, I was gonna explode. I remember I was gonna explode. So I'm like, okay, I guess people do it. I'm just gonna do it. just gonna do it. Do it. Do it. What? Like a second
sitting there
before,
yelling
I
at yourself
couldn't
like
hold it.
You're sitting there yelling at yourself like Shia LaBeouf. Just like, come on, just
Exactly,
do it.
exactly. A second before, I thought I couldn't hold it, and then I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Wow.
Give me the
So
blood bowl.
I'll reveal what I had to do.
Continue.
I did not unzip my.
Oh wow.
I did not. I did
Oh,
not unzip
okay.
my suit.
I think
But-
that's hard in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The unzipping.
The unzipping.
Yes.
Yes.
And but I had to actually grab myself like if I was in the restroom. It was the only way. I'm telling young drivers out there, if it ever happens,
Use
the
both
second I
hands.
did grab myself, then it was the release button, and
Wow.
it's probably one of the best sensations I had in my life at that moment.
Really?
Wow.
It's just
We all have to try it.
It was such a release, and then I was so much more focused on what I had to do. So that made me like it, and 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 because of that, I've done it maybe 3 or 4 times in my career. Not many, not many.
The funniest thing is the smile that he
Yeah,
has.
yeah.
It's like a little
No, because
creepy.
I mean, it's not something you obviously you know. But I mean, I sweat a lot, so it's salt water. It's no, but yeah, it's you are peeing
Now
in the
do you-
seat that you're gonna be for 2 hours. you know.
So here's the $1 million question: Is do you tell them when you get out, or do you just hope that they like somehow won't notice?
I have because
Okay.
you know.
Because somebody's gonna have to deal with that. So do you go?
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
"I'm
exactly.
sorry,
If you don't
dude."
deal with it, then it make it.
What-
If you just water it down, it's fine. It's all again. It's just really mainly water.
Yeah.
But it's a little treatment helps. You're gonna be sitting in it in 2 weeks, so
plus
might
it's-
as well be.
Plus, like, it's your guy. You know what I mean?
That's what
Like
I'm
your
saying,
guys
yeah,
in
yeah.
your car, you don't want him.
to be
Yeah.
surprised.
Yeah, you're like, hey man, I'm sorry.
But nobody's
Like,
happy to hear that.
Yeah, absolutely
Yeah,
not.
You know.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. But what did Patrick answer? Who's the driver that he?
Oh, Craig Stanton, sports car guy, is in really good shape.
Okay.
I kind of led him down the road of what I would do, which is go with the most physically in shape person because it'll most likely just be water. Versus if it was like Tony Stewart's piss, it's probably like 4-day-old beer. Just like no nutrients or any sort of healthiness to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was a concern about herpes too, but I don't think we figured out if that's actually
If that actually
transmitted through
transmits.
urine.
Yeah.
would
That's
you
specific.
would you be more okay if it was a female driver?
I said that to Pat, and he just didn't even
He wouldn't go there.
respond.
Yeah.
He's married though.
And he's worried. He has
Well,
a Porsche contract.
Nowadays, I don't know. Important sites. There's all this. I heard there's all these like different. I don't know. I mean, I've never been into that.
No,
but
continue.
But at least
you're not into porn?
I think it's hard.
You're
not
nodding
To.
yes,
I think it's
but-
hard not to in this era.
You
I
don't
mean,
have a factory contract. No one's.
No, I mean, listen. I'm sure this. I'm sure the CEO of Volkswagen.
Yeah, you're the least of his concerns.
Yeah,
right
about
now.
to say.
But I'm. It's just. It's. I mean,
Can you do an American accent? Like if you're making fun of somebody, like at the like Jay, do you have like a go-to like okay?
Jay actually has a very Polish accent. I like having a lot of making a lot of fun.
Good,
Just because it sounds so different than what I'm used to. Brian Vickers. I mean,
Oh.
he has such a strong accent. No, I cannot
Can
do
you-
it. I
can you
cannot
do a
it, but I
Vickers? Just do a
try.
little.
I try when I'm with him. I have to be with him, and then, but it's almost like another language. I mean, it really is. No, we have a lot of fun. He's really smart guy, and fun to be around. But yeah, the Southern accent actually, I got to like it a lot.
All right.
I do.
What about like a Dario Franchitti? Could you do
Wow,
his?
that's impossible.
Right. I mean, can you imagine hearing him do that?
It would blow my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can't.
Okay.
I'm not
Alright.
that. I'm not. That's not one of my talents.
I guess he's
Yeah.
He's
He's
no
already-
Patrick Long.
he's not.
Yeah,
Oh,
Patrick.
is he good?
Oh, he
who
could,
does
he
he
could
do?
go through the whole Porsche factory lineup.
No
It was
way.
pretty
Yeah,
impressive.
it's pretty good.
That's awesome.
You'll have to download the podcast
Yeah.
and hear it.
I will.
It's the one before you.
Cristiano D'Amato was amazing doing accents.
Really?
Yeah.
Amazing. He would do any. I mean, we were laughing our ass when we were teammates. He would just do anyone.
Do you keep up with him?
Less than I would like to. He's, since he had his crash, he moved to Brazil, and we do keep in touch. But that his crash was in 2007, I think. So it's like it's hard.
Right.
I have a hard time, keep
As
in
you
touch
need
with my family after 17 years being here. Cristiano, we do like every 6 months exchange
Right.
some sort of a.
8 years later, is he any different still?
He was always different. Don't get me wrong. Cristiano is not your your normal guy. But no, after the crash, he basically were testing in Elkhart Lake, and a deer crossed the track, and he hit his head badly. He was very unlucky and unfortunate of how it happened, but he was very fortunate of how it happened. They put him right away in the helicopter. The helicopter was supposed to go to Milwaukee. As they realized they don't have enough fuel to go to Milwaukee. They go to Neenah, which is a really small town close to Milwaukee. Luckily, happens to have a department specialized in brain surgery, and the main surgeon was not supposed to be there, was there, and within 40 minutes of the crash, he was on the surgery room, and they opened when they open the scalp so the brain can expand,
Right, swell.
and then go back, and it was just really lucky because all that unfortunate things happened, but at least it was the best case scenario,
right.
and he recovered. The first 5 years, he was like 95% back, but now he's excellent.
Yeah, it's good to hear. I always liked him. I was cheering for
he's
him.
great, very genuine
Yeah, it seemed
guy.
like a really nice dude.
Yeah, I've been lucky. I've been lucky with my teammates. I had not only great personalities but great champions. That, as a driver, at least you have something to, a level to measure. I was teammate with Damata, I was teammate with Bourdais, I was teammate with Dixon.
Yeah.
3 guys that mainly ruled open wheel in the last 15 years.
All
So
badass, yeah.
I've been really, really and willpower.
I was about to say, what about a willpower
Yeah,
impression?
the four of them. I mean, really, there it doesn't get any stronger.
Can you do a willpower impression?
Oh no, I can't. Honestly, I'm bad. I'm
Have
really
you ever
bad.
noticed how he opens every interview with, yeah.
Willpower?
true.
Yeah.
Oh.
Every interview's like, yeah.
Yeah.
In the same way that Elio will always go, let me tell you.
We finally got one out of him.
Yeah. What about a Montoya? You could do a Montoya.
It's okay. It's
There
okay.
it is. The
It's
face
okay.
is- the face
oh, but
is
you just
even
won the
good.
Indy 500 for 70. Yeah, it's okay. But you just lost the championship. Same points. Yeah, it's okay. That's what makes him.
The face is
plump.
good too. He's even
Yeah.
got the.
No, but it
Ooh.
really,
Can't tell
that's his
that.
energy. It's just, he's dedicated. It's not like he doesn't care. But,
Yeah.
the second it's passed, it's passed. He doesn't, honestly, like, that's what makes him.
I think he's probably one of the best race car drivers of our entire generation. If you look at all the different things he's done.
He is.
But people give him so much crap because he's kind of like you say. He's
He
like,
doesn't give a shit. And,
if he-
and the truth is, we're all jealous of the opportunities he had.
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah,
and
of course.
obviously the success.
Right.
That's no unquestionable. I mean, it's one of most awarded drivers in history.
Yeah.
But he had the opportunities.
Sure.
Like from the start, he came here coming from Williams in F1. The best F3000 team first, then Williams, then here at Ganassi, then back to Williams, then McLaren, then back to NASCAR in Ganassi 10 years, and then back to Penske. What else? Now Porsche in the WEC? I mean, really? So it's like... But the truth is, the guy wins then,
He's good.
So
He's
you
good.
cannot deny the guy.
He
Yeah, of
deserves it.
course he's got talent. Super talented. But, that's why sometimes he gets crap from us because, man, I can't. Like Montoya, really?
Yeah.
That is good.
Can you just do one Daniel Plainview for us? At the end of There Will Be Blood. No,
Yeah.
come on. At the end of There Will Be Blood, Paul Dano is dead. He's looking at his servant guy and goes, "I'm finished." Can you close out with that?
I'm finished.
Continental's got the check.
Wow. Okay.
I'm finished.
Oriol Servia, honest to God, one of the nicest, most genuine guys you could ever meet. And if you're a team owner, an amazing endurance driver. All right, let's close this episode out. We're going to play one more track from Citizen Cope, who for whatever reason seemed to endorse what we're doing, which is awesome. This is a song called One Lovely Day, available on iTunes. Enjoy.
Well, she won't give in. She won't crack a smile or a grin. Well, she won't give in. Oh, but she sure is different. Well, it's written in red, all in her eyes. There's no disguise. Well, she lost so much in Tivoli. Together we could go where there ain't no more pain. Together we could fly, or where there's time for you and I. Together we could walk to the river, stand with the families, move to the sounds of the band from Atlantis. Oh, one lovely day, one lovely day. Oh, one lovely day, one lovely day. Well, she won't let on that the feelings they got so strong. Well, she won't let on that I'm never gonna leave her alone. Well, it's written in red, all in her eyes. There's no disguise. Well, she lost so much in Tivoli. Together we could go where there ain't no more pain. Together we could fly, where there's time for you and I. Together we could walk to the river, stand with the fannies, move to the sounds of the band from Atlantis. Oh, one lovely day, one lovely day. Oh, one lovely day, one lovely day. Together we could go where there ain't no more pain. Together we could fly, where there's time for you and I. Together we could walk to the river, stand with the families, move to the sounds of the band from Atlantis. Oh, one lovely day, one lovely day. Yeah. Oh, one lovely day, one lovely day. Yeah. Oh, one lovely day, one lovely day.